Hello everybody, this is the meteorologist without credentials. Before I get started on the forecast, I need to get out there that I am not a professional forecaster. I have no college degree in weather or anything for that matter. So whatever I may forecast, for your own safety and for the safety of your family, please consult with official forecasters, whether it be your local weather station or something like that, local weather channel on TV or radio. Yeah, I'm not a professional, so anything that I do forecast may not necessarily happen. So please do your own research in this regard and take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But we are using official websites in our research, and I'm just stating what I see. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments, and I will try and answer it. I will be live for about probably 10 minutes or less. Whenever I see my mom pull up from work for lunch, I will be exiting the live stream because then it will be, of course, more noisy and more distracting. So let's go here to the forecast models. Let's go to the GFS. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name of this tropical cyclone. Dineo. If you're from this area, please let me know what the pronunciation is of this storm. So this is the forecast of the storm. Don't worry about the ads, they're not going to go away. I posted a forecast this morning. Since then the model has updated, so certain things might be different than before. This is, okay, let's see. We're at 0. So currently, right now, 49.6 knots. Let me go over here. I have to check something on my phone real quick. Wind speed converter. I gotta take this from knots and put it into miles per hour. So this is 49.6 knots. So that is 57 miles per hour, roughly 57.1 miles per hour. So that's a tropical storm, showing it's still out to sea. No land is being impacted yet by the storm. Of course, the water area over here and over here by Madagascar, there's of course rip current risk, so do not go to the beach or plan on going to the beach for the next week at least. Maybe 2 weeks to be safe, but at least next week don't plan on going to the beach or swimming by the water. You could be pulled out to sea and that won't be very fun. Let's check also this wind speed map. This is showing 850 HPA wind in knots. So this is 69.2 knots, which is, gonna put in the converter, 69.2. See, this is why I'm not a professional. If I was a professional, I'd be able to do it off the top of my head. 79.6 miles per hour. So that is a Category 1 hurricane, I believe. Yeah, that's a Category 1 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale right now. Tropical storm force winds, a few, maybe over right here in Madagascar, this part here, there's some tropical storm force winds being pushed onshore in this area right over here. So this area is getting some tropical storm force winds. Now that's only about 40 mile per hour winds, so they're not very strong winds over here, but definitely enough if there's weak branches on trees to cause damage. Let me see, is it raining in that area? Yeah, some rain, not too much. Let's go back over here. on my forecast on my Facebook page that you guys see, I have a low and a high estimate for the wind speeds of the hurricanes, tropical cyclones. The low number I get from the 10-meter wind speed map. The high-end speeds, I get from the 850 HPA wind speed map. And generally, the hurricane strength will be between those two numbers, from what I found. So, right now, it is either a tropical storm or Category 1 hurricane, right in between. So, a strong tropical storm is what it should be right now. Borderline hurricane. So let's go now. We're at oh, that's 006. Let's go to 24 hours from now. That it is going to be, let's see, 24 hours from now. The low number for the strength of this is 65 knots, 65.6 knots. Let me go to the converter. 65.6 knots. So that's 75.5 mile per hour or 75 mile per hour hurricane. So that's a Category 1 hurricane with tropical storm force winds just brushing the coast on the 10-meter wind map. If we go to the 850 HPA map on knots, the high estimate here is 90 knots. So let me go to the converter. 90 knots. That is 103 mile per hour wind. So now let me go to the on here Saffir-Simpson scale. 103 mile per hour winds on the Saffir-Simpson scale puts this at a Category 2 hurricane. And the Category 2 force winds would be this little section right here. So, tropical storm force winds on the coast. These are strong tropical storm force winds. The purple is Category 1 hurricane. The pink over here is Category 2. Well, it's still a light purple. But, so this is the outer bands of the tropical storm force winds for the high number estimate. So, between a Category 1 and a Category 2, low grade Category 1, what was it, low grade? That I said before? I think it was, what was it? Let me go back and see. So, on the low estimate, that was 65 knots. Okay, so 75 mile per hour hurricane. So, a low grade Category 1 or a low grade Category 2 or mid-range Category 2. So you're looking at a strong Category 1 hurricane to mid-range Category 1, maybe a low-end Category 2. But I'm going to say Category 1 hurricane for this area is what we should be expecting. The Category 1 hurricane force winds will be out to sea, but strong tropical storm force winds will already be impacting this part of the map. If you live in this area, you can comment what areas these are. I'm not good with names, so I'm not going to attempt and fail horribly. You can just post it in the comments below. Okay, so now let's go. So this is 24 hours. Let's go 48 hours. So that will be in 2 days from now. Go to the low end estimate. Alright, so this is 34.1 knots. This would be a tropical depression. Let me see exactly how many miles per hour that would equate to. 34.1. That is about 39 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour. So a minimal tropical storm, strong tropical depression is what's forecasted by the low estimate. Now by the high estimate, let's see, 78.4 knots. Let me do that. 78.4. 78.4. That's 90.2 miles per hour. So that would put this at a Category 1 hurricane, a strong Category 1 or weak tropical storm. So I'm going to say this is going to be a mid-range tropical storm or a low-grade tropical storm. My mom just pulled up, so I'm going to see about continuing the forecast. I'll just ask her when she walks in. So I'm just going to mute the audio for a bit so that way my mom doesn't have to be on audio, and I'll be on the wind speed map.
Where do these dishes?
Okay, so back to the forecast on this storm. This is 48 hours from now. Most likely a mid-range tropical storm. Maybe a low-end tropical storm or a high-end tropical storm. Probably not a Category 1 hurricane at this point, as this high-end estimate shows. But we'll have to see as time will tell. But definitely, if you're in this area, you should probably prepare for the stronger estimate, just in case. So over here we have stronger tropical storm force winds reaching into this area and into this area. This is South Africa. This is, let me go on to Google Maps on my phone, Zimbabwe. So tropical storm force winds on the border of Zimbabwe. Weak to moderate tropical storm force winds in South Africa over here, northeast South Africa. Possible hurricane force winds in south central Zimbabwe, and tropical storm force winds along the coast and along the borders. Now on the low estimate of the wind speeds, it doesn't really show any, just maybe a small patch of tropical storm force winds right over here mid Zimbabwe. But on the high estimate, definitely still some wind. So somewhere in between. So I'm going to say mid-range tropical storm force winds in this area and low-end tropical storm force winds up until this area here, this part of South Africa and along the coast over here. So that's my forecast for the 48 hours. Now if we go to, I believe it's 96 hours from now. The low end, 20.4 knots, not really anything there. And for the high end, 34.6 knots, not really much. Maybe scattered tropical storm force winds. So with those combined, within 96 hours, this storm should be finished up. And I believe this country here is Botswana. So it's going to move quickly from Mozambique through South Africa and Botswana. In between that time, South Africa, maybe Swaziland, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and the very most eastern part of Botswana will probably see tropical storm force winds before it dies out. Definitely though, between that time, heavy rains. Regardless of whether or not you get strong winds in your neighborhood, there should be strong rain associated with this storm system. So flooding is definitely a problem. If you have any family in these areas or anything like that, you should let them know that a storm is on its way, and they could see the forecast Now that's my forecast. I'm not a professional. Let's go to the professional's forecast of the storm. This is wonderground.com/hurricane. This website here was tropicaltidbits.com, and this one was earth.nullschool.net. So currently it has it as a tropical storm, about to be a Category 1 hurricane, as forecasted. And also as it makes landfall, Category 1 hurricane, maybe a mid-range tropical storm, and by the time it reaches this area, a tropical depression. So that's what the forecast is looking like right now. It should make landfall around 12 a.m. Thursday, and by 12 a.m. Friday, this storm should be finished. So that's the update on the storm. Here's the storm right here on the live wind map speed. And with that, I will be signing off.